Okay, hello, hello. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Let's just jump into it. So, first question for you, may you please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about your personal and professional point of view?
Sure. My name is Kate Kostandoff. A mom, a wife, sister, um, daughter, friend, avid reader, and now that I'm retired, I can also add to that list that I'm a hiker, a cyclist, and a volunteer, which I've been doing a lot of recently. In my professional life, I was a teacher for more than 30 years at the York Region School Board in high school. And most of that time of my career was spent as a teacher-librarian managing the learning commons in the library.
Very, very lovely. So, what has brought you to Ellies Place and motivates you to be with us here today?
Well, personal interest in mental health and in particular mental illness, which I think is a different thing altogether. And when I was first retired, about 3 years ago, I just came across something about Ellies Place, and I immediately got in touch with David Cooper because I wanted to see how I could become involved. I didn't really know anything about the organization then. And we met at a coffee shop back when you could do that sort of thing. And we had a really engaging conversation and shared personal stories. It was my son's journey with mental illness that led me to become interested in Ellie's Place. And immediately I felt the commitment and the spark and the integrity that David possesses. It just emanates from him. And I really was interested to learn more, and I became a volunteer shortly after that on the communications committee, and now I'm a member of the board.
On the subject of teaching and your experience that way, what are your thoughts on the education around mental health and mental illness in a school setting? Do you think there's more opportunities for growth in that kind of line of work, or more to be done? What are your thoughts there?
Well, the last 5 years of my teaching career, mental health was very much on the forefront, and I'm really pleased to say that I think York Region did a very good job. York Region across the board made that a central focus, but every school's experience was different. I happened to be at a school, a very multicultural school. The need for communicating around mental health was perhaps even more important than other schools because in many respects it wasn't something that a lot of the cultures represented in our school were comfortable talking about.
So I guess the next question I wanted to ask you, what would you like to add to this conversation around mental health?
Well, one of the things I'm sometimes conflicted about is the very positive idea of raising awareness and general understanding around mental health, and this expression, everyone has mental health, which is absolutely correct. But I think, unfortunately, sometimes those people who have serious mental illnesses feel less understood because those are the situations which can sometimes not be pleasant. In fact, they can be quite distressing. They can be extremely unnerving for people who are experiencing it for the first time and seeking help. And so I wish we had more discussion of an honest nature around serious mental illness, which so very often begins to manifest itself in adolescence, which is a time of huge developmental change. And so I think sometimes signs that we might see are overlooked or they are attributed to something else, something maybe more willful or driven by choice, and not something that might be happening that has nothing to do with personal choice or decisions. And so there is still very much a stigma around serious mental illness. And I do wish that we would talk more about that and we could share more stories about that in an authentic way, more more often, and not to denigrate all of the good work that has been done to talk about mental health and mental wellness in general, and to raise the profile of that. But we still need to go beyond the talking about the simple issues of mental health and push beyond to really address the things that are more challenging and where the need is really profound.
I completely agree. And even things that say like physical symptoms that someone with a mental illness experiences, those aren't often talked about either. And I like to say 1 in 5 obviously live with a mental illness, but 5 in 5 have mental health. But we have to look at that 1 in 5 as well. That's a population of our society that also has needs that need to be catered to. And they should receive that compassion and that understanding like the 5 in 5 as well. When we look at Ellies Place's tagline, where recovery grows, and I think that kind of ties in nicely too with what you just brought up. What does where recovery grows mean to you?
Well, in a word, hope.
Yeah.
To me, it's just profoundly hopeful that there is a place that is targeted at a single group. Young adults 18 to 35 who need that support and who need to develop the skills to live with what can be an enduring lifelong illness. But like so many other illnesses that our society has come to accept people living with, we need to learn to accept that people can live meaningful, fulfilling lives with mental illness as well. They need the skills and they need the time and space to develop those. And that's what a place like Ellies Place can provide.
So nicely said. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I think your insights, your passion very much shine through. And Ellies Place is very, very lucky to have you and happy to have you. So what a great discussion, and thank you.
Thank you, Constantina. Thank you very much.